Hello everyone, it's Sue back, and I actually have a little bit of my mojo has returned, so I've been playing around a little bit, which is lovely, without too much pressure, and I've come up with some little notebooks that I've made out of envelopes. Now I know there's lots of ladies that are making some really creative things with envelopes, and I can't say I've seen exactly the same as this, so I apologise if someone has already done this, and I haven't seen it, so I can't credit anyone, but it's a similar thing. It's not new, but using the envelopes, but this is what I've come up with. So I thought I'd do just a tutorial on how I put these together. So these are the covers, very easy to make, and you can decorate as much as you like or as little as you like. So these are, actually I can't remember what size they are. They are about 6¼ in height, and width they are 4½. So perfect to pop in your journals. So I'll just zoom out a little bit. Okay, and I'll just give you a little bit of a look inside. So all I've done is I've done some different closures because as I said, I was playing around. So I've just used some satin seam binding on this one, and I've just wrapped it around, and I've just added a few pearl beads there. So it's got that on the front and that on the back. Once again, I've left the threads. You don't have to do that, and you don't even have to stitch this if you don't want to. As you probably know, people that have watched me for a while, I like the sewing side of things and having all the threads, so that's just my style. So inside we've got, and I haven't done all the tags and everything to go in these yet, but I've done a pocket here, and there's a pocket there which is the envelope, and these are just a couple of tags that I've started doing for that. In here I've just put some coffee dyed paper for extra journaling. So this pocket's a little bit harder to get into, that's why I've just popped paper in there. So there, and I've just used a selection of different papers that I've coffee dyed, and they are actually sewn in with the machine. Once again, you could do I'll find the middle. You could do your pamphlet stitch in here if you wanted to. That would work as well. I don't very often sew my signatures in, so I just thought I'd do that on the machine. And then on the back I've got another pocket. So I've got another pocket here, and then another pocket here. And as you can see, I've used 2 envelopes, and you could use any size or any colour. I just have these that I purchased from a lady on a craft distash site. And so that's what these envelopes look like that I've used. So that's what we'll be using today. As I said, just use whatever envelopes you've got. So that's that little fella. I'll just show you very quickly. So on this one, I've done seam binding on 2 sides, and so it ties in a bow. So this was a lot softer, so I've just used a complementary seam binding there. Same thing. The flap just goes over there. Pocket here. Once again, as I said, I'm still making the tags, etc., to go in there, and then just some paper, and I've sewn the signature in, and then pocket at the back and the pocket there as well. So that's that guy. This was my first one that I made, so it was the prototype. So I've just used a Kaisercraft range anthology. I've used some sari silk for the closure, and I just joined that on the sewing machine, just a little fob of keys as the charm. I did put this on thinking that I would use that as a closure. It didn't work out so well, so I've just left that there as a decoration. I think it looks fine. So, and same thing, pocket, pocket, just random papers, and pocket, pocket. I've put that there just to cover the prongs at the back for the brad for that. So that's that one. And I could have been a little bit more generous with my sari silk on that closure, but anyway, it still works. And as I said, that was the prototype. So that's that one. And then this one, which is really pretty, I think this one might be my favorite. So this is sari silk, and I've just added a garment pin with some pearls, same thing, and just wrapped it around. That's the back. And so same thing again, 2 pockets, pocket, pocket, random papers. So I haven't decorated inside here because I thought it could be just a little notebook that goes in your bag, or you can put it in as extra journaling in a journal. Could be like just a gift notebook, happy mail, anything really. So, and then in the back, pocket, pocket again. And then that just closes, just wraps around. Oh, that's my washing machine singing. So I've got a beautiful day here today, but it's still really quite cold. So I'm taking advantage of the sun and getting some some washing done. So just make sure I'm in frame and we'll get to it. Okay, so grab 2 envelopes. And as I said, you can use any size you like. And what we're going to do is so this is going to be your booklet. So we want this flap here to be on the right. So place your envelopes like that. And if you've got a sticky piece there, just take that off. And we're going to use glue to glue that down. So I've just used a clear tacky glue that I get from Spotlight here in Australia, and all we're going to do is just sew around that flap. Don't go right to the crease because we're going to glue the flap from the other envelope, onto the flap. I can't speak today. About 1/8 of an inch away from the fold line. So it's a bit shadowy. I'm still trying to work out my best filming setup. So I don't know if you can see there is just a very slight 1/8 of an inch gap there between the folded edge. So we just, excuse my head. So just rub off any excess glue and just smush that down. Any excess glue that you haven't rubbed off will be covered anyway, so don't stress too much about that. So there you have the base for your notebook. So that's pretty easy. Okay, so what I did then, using a circle punch, you don't have to use a circle punch, you can use any punch you like, or you can just leave this open. It just makes it easier to get in and get out whatever you've got tucked in the pocket. So what I've done is I've just slipped the punch in there and cut a notch, and then also just try and line it up as best you can. It doesn't matter because there's going to be a signature in between, so you're not going to see if it's not perfect. So just punch another notch there. So then I'll bore you to tears, and I probably should have had one already organised. So just ink, and I'm just using the Distress Ink Vintage Photo. So just very roughly, and once again, if you don't want to, you don't have to ink. I just like that inked look, so I'm just going to ink all the way around the edges. So what I might do is I might just pop over and do all that inking, and I will be back in 2 ticks. See you soon. Okay guys, so I've inked around that. That was a little bit laborious, but I think I need my poor Distress ink pad. I have re-inked it, I don't know how many times, but I just can't seem to get much ink out of it. So as you can see, I've been a bit rough. It doesn't really matter. Basically the reason I've inked this is just so that you can see that there is, because the craft envelope sort of just blended into one another, so at least you can see there that there's a little tab for a pocket there. So that's all inked around, and as I said, this is going to be covered, so you just really wanted the edges just to be inked. So we've done that. So the next step is to measure, choose and measure your papers that you want for your front and back covers. So these pieces here, this piece and this piece. So I've got a couple of papers and I still haven't really decided, I think, just for something different, because I don't really use yellow and red. I was thinking I might even use this paper. It's got beautiful floral on the back. So with the backs, like this, I've just used a fairly plain paper because I just wasn't 100% whether I was going to actually stick it in on a page on a journal. These, because I've sewn around them, I probably will put in as a separate piece, or these will just be separate booklets on their own. If you were going to glue it into a journal as a piece in the journal, you probably don't even have to put your piece of paper on the back here, because you could just glue that envelope, just glue there and then stick that onto your page. So you could do that and just glue 3 sides, and then you'd have your journal, and you could even have it as a pocket at the back. So I do have some of these beautiful Tim Holtz papers as well. So I'm just sort of not 100% sure, and these are, yeah, that's Tim Holtz as well. So I think I'm going to go with my first choice and go with this paper. I think this is 7 Gypsies. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, but so I think that might be something nice and different. So with the measurements for here, so your chosen paper for the front and back, you need to measure it 4 2/8 of an inch by 6 1/8 of an inch. So I will just grab my cutter here. So I want, what did I say, 4 2/8. So I want this bit to show on there. I like that. So 4 2/8, which is 4 1/4. Is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 1/4. So we go 4 1/4, and then we want 6 1/8. So now I've just got to work out what's going to be cut off. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have on the front. That looks big. Oh, so isn't that funny? You cut it and you think it looks too big. So that's going to be the front. And I like that. I think I've got another sheet of that. I hope I have. Let me just have a look. I've got so many paper pads. So this would work well for your 6-inch paper pads as well if you're using this size envelope or smaller. So here's some more of that paper. I just need to get busy and use it all up. So it seems a shame to be cutting this and using this at the back, but I really like that. So I'm going to cut it this way. So 4 1/4. 4 1/4 by 6 1/8. Okay, side. So this is what have I've cut 2 pieces at once then. Oh goodness, anyway, that's all right, I'll use it. So I've cut 2 pieces at once. So this is going, oh, I've done the same there. Oh well, I'll be making 2 the same. So that'll be, no, what have I done? Yeah, that's right. So that's the front, and then that will be the back. Okay, so once you've done that, just ink around those edges. So just so they stand off the envelope there a bit. Just make sure it's still recording. I'm so paranoid now. It's the last few times Jim's rung and the storage on my phone is full, and I've been happily crafting away and not recording, so I just need to check. So I mean, that's only very lightly, but it just makes it pop a little bit. And then this is the back, so just ink around those as well. So what I also did, as you can see on here, I have sewn around the edges. So I'm going to go off, once I've inked this, I'm going to go to my machine, and I'll come back to you again shortly, and I'm just going to sew around the edges. So I guess you don't really need to see me ink this as well. So what I'll do is I'll finish this and go and sew those edges, and I'll be right back. See you soon. Okay, I'm back. And I thought I was filming and I wasn't. So it has missed a step. So I'll just go through that with you. So what I've done is I've put what do you call that? Sari silk. I've put the sari silk in, so I've glued it onto the back cover. So if you put the insides of your little folder on your work table, and on the left hand side in the middle I've glued my closure. So I've just glued that down with a little bit of tacky glue, and then on top of that I've just glued the back cover, and then as well the front cover. So we have this. So obviously I'll probably trim that down a little bit. So there you have the front and back cover with the closure of the little notebook. Okay. So next step we will do is to cut the inside pockets. So those I will just use, I think I'll just use this paper. So with them, actually let me have a look. Yeah, that'll be nice. So I'm going to cut this 2 inches wide. Oh, you still with me? Goodness me. Sorry about that, guys. I'm having one of those days. So I filmed the rest of the video yesterday and time just got away from me, and I've woken up today feeling really dizzy. So I'm just really out of whack. So I'm so sorry about that. I hope that doesn't turn you all off watching. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this at 2 inches. And that's not quite 2 inches. So I think 2 inches is a good size. So I'm going to cut this other piece. I'll cut it this way, I think. So it's 2 inches. So that'll be one pocket, and this will be another pocket. So I'll just try not to hit you guys again. And then this will be 6 1/8. So I'm just going to use my little cutter. So this is 8 inches, so 6 1/8 is 1 3/8. I've got to cut off the bottom. Hopefully my maths is right. So 1 3/8. No. 1 and I don't know, I can't work that out. So I need that to be, okay, as I said, my head is spinning around and around today, so I'm just not thinking straight. More so than normal anyway. Okay, so whatever that is, I'm just going to line that up. And cut that. So that's our 2 pockets. Okay, let's pop that back there. All right, so what we want to do now is just ink around the edges and cut. So just work out approximately where it's going to sit. So it's a similar sort of thing, 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So we're just in the center, we just want to put a little notch. So once again, using whichever punch you want to use. And then I'll do the same. Oh, hang on, I've got to make sure. Yeah, no, that's right. Oh, I'm not with it at all, am I? So we just need to make another notch in the other one. Okay, so there we have it. So that's one pocket, and then we'll have this pocket facing that way. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to ink around all the edges here, and then I'm going to quickly sew around there as I have on these. I'll just undo this and show you. So you can see I've just inked and sewn around that. So I'm going to just scoot off to my machine and do that, and I will be back very quickly. See you soon. Okie doke. So that's done. I've sewn around all the edges there. So they're our inside pockets. So now what we need to do is just glue them down. So we're going to glue the top left-hand side and the bottom, and just glue them down to our envelopes. I mean, you can have pockets going this way if you want to. Glue that way. And that, I mean, that's probably not a bad idea too. You can do anything. So, all right, so I'm going to glue that down. So as I said, once again, about 1/8 of an inch, and even from this centerpiece here, put it about 1/8 of an inch in away from that. Let's rub off the excess glue there. And just do the same again with this one. Oops, went a bit, that's my dizzy head then, can't see straight. Okay, so trying to finalize this video today because Jim's gone down to pick up his mum from the nursing home, so she's coming up for a couple of days to visit. So I thought won't get a chance in the next couple of days, obviously, between work and her visiting. So I just want to try and get this done. Okay, so we've done that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually cut and glue some paper onto the flap. So this will go over the front there. So I'm thinking that I'm just going to stick with that same theme and do the floral on there. I like that. So now these, I mean, I haven't measured these because you'll probably be using different size envelopes as well. Let me just make sure I've got 2 pieces. So you're going to need 2 pieces, one on the front and one on the back. So what I'm going to do, just having a think whether to, I might actually use that side for that flap. Yeah, I'm going to use that side for that flap, and then I'm going to use the floral for the outside flap. So just remove any paper that you may have on the sticky piece there. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some glue around on this flap. I guess try not to do, I don't know, I'm always very heavy-handed with the glue. So around, I mean, you want to get it around the edges so that it sticks. So what I might do is I'll just put the beads of glue there and then just fill in there. I'm just going to drag my finger across the glue just to bring it straight to the edge, just so that glues. So this is what we're using. So you've got a straight edge here. What I normally do is I just bend that. I hope you can see that. Is just bend that and just shoot that in and fold, and just so that you know that it goes straight up to the fold. Now I probably should have inked that edge. It doesn't matter, you're not really going to notice that too much. So then you've got all this excess. I just found that this was easier than try and pre-cut it and put it on. So so then when you've got that on there, just trim away any excess that you've got. Trying not to cut away any part of the envelope. I mean, if you do a little bit, it doesn't matter. So there you have the inside flap. Let's get rid of these papers. And then we're going to do the exact same thing, but for the outside. I might use that. So it's got a little bit of that writing on there as well. So the exact same as what you've just done with the inside flap. We're just going to glue around here. Once again, try and get it to as close to the edge as you can, and then just fill that in. I'm just going to rub so the glue goes right to the edge. So much excess there. And same thing, so just flip it towards you. You need to think about this so that I don't have it upside down. So you want to put your straight edge. So just fold it a little bit. I don't want all that writing. I'm going to go there, I think. And just push that into where the fold is so that it gets right in there. And then just glue. Press down and glue that down. And once again, you've got your excess, and we'll just trim that away. Okay, so I'm just going to trim that away. Now it's a little bit harder to see because the colours are very similar. Just trim that away. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink very quickly, just around that flap there. I really need to get a new ink pad. And then just fold your flap like that, and just so you get a bit of ink on that side. And then do the same for this one. Just got a bit of excess glue there. So I wasn't sure whether I was going to be able to actually finish this, because Roland, my new cat that I've adopted, he was wanting cuddles, and he was just coming in and just jumping on my workspace. Anyway, I gave him a cuddle and got him something to eat, and he's now asleep on his cat tower, which is nice. So hopefully I'll get this finished before he decides to pop over for more cuddles. Okay, so that's basically your booklet. Then we're going to just choose some random papers just to put on the inside. So it's quite cute, isn't it? And I mean, you don't have to have it all matching. You can just use scrap bits. I mean, we all have bigger scrap bits as well, or we all have those, or most of us have, well, I know I do, a lot of those 6-inch paper pads, even the 12-inch paper pads. I just have a tendency to buy the ones that I love, and then I put them on the shelf and I forget to use them. So something like this is a really good idea to start using them up. So there we have it. So the next step that I did here, I would probably normally wait until the glue dries a bit more. But just grab your metal ruler and a scoring tool or a stylus. Can't find my tool, and I'm just going to score a line approximately about 1/4 of an inch in from there. So it just gives a little bit, allows this flap to come over, and once we put the papers in here, it just gives that little bit of, so instead of having a spine, we're just sort of allowing this to be, I guess, the spine, in the sense to sort of allow it so that it doesn't open up too much. Oh, I just looked at my hands. Look how dry they are. It's disgusting. Okay, so just gently do that. So I don't know whether you can actually see that, the line that I've done there. And then normally what I do is I just tip it over and line it up as best I can. It's a little bit hard to see. And just finger press it as well. So then you've got, I'll just show you. See what I mean? You've got like a little edge there, so that like, once we get the papers in, it allows that to open up a bit without sort of the mouth opening too much. So I'm just going to ink that edge there as well. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go to my machine again, and I'm just going to sew around there just to finish it all off. Okay, so as I said, if you don't have a sewing machine, don't stress, because it'll look just as good without stitching on it. So I'll be right back. Okay, so that's done as well, guys. So as you can see, I've just very quickly sewn around there, and I've just done a stitch up there as well. So there you have your little booklet cover. That paper's really nice, isn't it? Okay, so so from here, I mean, you just choose whatever papers you have, and I do have some here, and I think I put, sorry, making a lot of noise there, 12 sheets. So I cut them 8.5 this way, 8.5 by 6 1/8. So I've pre-done that. So actually that's a bit smaller. This is the, so hang on. Hang on. So yeah, okay, so this is an A4 sheet. So I cut 8.5 by 6 1/8, and then it left these pieces here, and I thought it doesn't matter, I'm going to use those anyway and stick them in there. So, and then these were a fool's cap sheet of grid paper, and I just cut them. So these are cut for this size envelope. Remember, keep in mind, so this one's cut 8, so 8 inches that way by 6 1/8, I think. 6 1/8. So, and as I said about 12, and I thought I did have a little bit of coffee dyed writing paper. I'll just have a quick look in here. You know what? I don't, but that's okay. So just use what you've got. So I'm not going to go scouting away looking for it. So just fold these. So I'll use those 3 grids, and then we'll just do coffee dye paper. So I just fold a couple at a time. Once again, don't be too precious with it. It's not meant to be perfect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 pieces, so maybe I'll just do 9 in this one. Yep, 9 it is. That's okay. Just I actually need to coffee dye some more papers. It's amazing once you start using them how quickly your once upon a time huge pile tends to deplete very quickly. Okay, so I might put a piece of the grid paper, and as you can see, I've just left the torn edge as well. And then just place them. I mean, you could use designer scrapbooking paper. Goodness knows I've got plenty of that as well. But just use whatever. So I'm just going to put that one in there, and then maybe just the smaller one in there as well. So there you have your paper that's going to go in there. So I think I said at the beginning of the tutorial that I was just going to do the pamphlet stitch in here, and I might still just do that, I think. Why not? Rather than head off and sew. Do I want to do that? I don't know. Actually, no, I think I'm going to sew it on the sewing machine. Can't make my mind up. Just to keep it all, because I've done like everything else is sewn on the sewing machine. So one thing to remember, as I did touch on this in the beginning of the video, is just make sure your tie is off to the side, because a couple of the previous books that I made, I actually sewed the tie into the spine, and I ended up having to unpick everything. And so what I did was I just pinned this, pinned it, or whatever you call it, clipped it up here out of the way, just with a bulldog clip. And then probably don't grab the papers, just because you want to make sure that they're right in the middle. So I'm just going to, I won't scoot away, I'll just go and quickly put this in my sewing machine, and I'll be right back. Maybe something pretty to look at. So I'm back. That's as easy as it is. And I'll just trim that. Sometimes it's really hard to get it straight in the spine. I've done all right on this one. So just give it a little bit of a fold. Unclip your closure. And there you have our cute little notebook. So I won't today. I'm not going to decorate all the tags and bits. You can do whatever you want. You can decorate your pages in here. As I said, I'm keeping mine fairly plain because I'll put that in journals or put some of these in my Etsy store just for little notebooks, for lists, etc. in your handbag. But as you can see, you've got a pocket there, a pocket there, pocket there, and a pocket there. So as I said, I won't do all the tags and everything because I've got to finish the other ones as well. So, and then you just tie that around. So I'm going to actually, so you can see why I've scored. I'll just actually see whether you can see. You can see why I've scored here, just to so that you've got a little bit more of an opening. So if you didn't have that, it'd go thinner and then wider and then thinner. So that just gives that, allows it to pop open a little bit. And then you have your cover. I don't have a lot of charms. What I might do is just put another, I love pearls, so I might put, maybe just put some pearls on there. I got these from my local Spotlight store, so they were chains of pearls like that. And I just actually take them apart and yeah, use them as charms. And I can't find my pliers, so you will probably all cringe when you see what I do here. So I just use my little scissors to open up and probably stab myself. Yeah, so I just use my scissors there to just open up that hook there. And I actually wanted the larger one. I'm such a dope. I'm in a really bad way today, aren't I? I'm just going to push that. Push that closed. So I was thinking maybe 3. So let's try again. So just going to open that up. It'll be so much easier with pliers. So I don't know whether somebody has decided they needed to use them, because normally they're right here beside me, but I don't know where they are. So I'm going to put it so that the larger pearl is down the bottom. And what I'll do is, so how much do I want to cut off here? I'm going to cut that off. And I mean, this isn't a waste because, we can use that on tags. And what I did with one of the other ones was I just tied a knot in the sari silk, and if I can find them, just hang on a tick. I'm just going to go and grab a bulb pin. Actually, I might have one in here. Got little jars of all sorts of bits and pieces lying around. Okay, hang on a sec. Okay. So this is just easier than trying to thread the sari silk through that loop there. So actually I probably need to cut that even a little bit shorter and tie a knot in that, only because there's the 3 pearls hanging. And then I'm just going to pin that through the sari silk. I'll put my glasses back on so I can see what I'm doing. And that makes it easier. It can just be taken off then as well. So now I've probably taken too much off, but anyway, that's okay. It still works. So there you have a finished little booklet that we've just made. How cute is that? So cute. Just undo it, and that's the inside. So I'll just quickly run through again all of them. So there's that one that we've made today, that one, this one's my favorite, I think. Oh, that's as well, you can add something to these if you want to. As you can see here, I've added a little bit of cheesecloth and a label. This one I've just added a strip of cheesecloth down the side and a label as well there. You don't have to. I mean, these papers really don't need much at all. They speak for themselves, don't they? They're beautiful. So this one I've just added a label just going around on the flap, going around from the front to the back. So that one's tied with 2 pieces of closure. And then we have this one. So he's got just a couple of little pearls. What are they? Pearls. So that's it, guys. So I hope that's helped somebody with an idea to use up some envelopes. We've all got them, and this can be done, adapted to any size envelope you like. Don't take that long to make, but a beautiful outcome, I think. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back soon with another video, and in the meantime, thank you once again for all your support and your beautiful comments that you leave for me. I appreciate every single one of you. So take care. Hope you get a little bit of crafting time in, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.